Hey, what is happening, everybody? It's your old pal, Mr. Butter, coming back at you again. I have been having to switch up the scenery here recently. The last video I did, I had to shoot it inside because the wind was blowing like crazy. As you can see, this morning it had a little bit of snow and sleet falling. Now it switched over to rain, so it should clear up pretty quick. But this winter overall has been pretty brutal so far. But anyhow, I'm a sneaker guy, I'm not a weatherman. Today is the day that the Black Toe Jordan 1 High dropped. I already grabbed a pair last year, but to me, it was worth grabbing another pair, especially because I had a coupon for Finish Line. Today I want to talk about how this drop went and whether or not I think the time to buy is right now, or maybe you'd be able to save some money if you wait. We'll take another look at these shoes and I'll talk about what I really like about them and why I thought they were good enough to double up on. If you're into kicks and you feel like hanging out, then hit that subscribe button. Let's talk about these Black Toe Jordan 1 Highs. Alright, so many of y'all probably remember that these were originally scheduled to release in 2024. I don't know why the Jordan brand decided to push these back, but there were already a lot of pairs out in circulation. I don't know if they dropped earlier overseas or if it was just like we've been seeing here recently where a lot of boutiques backdoor all their stock. When they announced that these were being pushed to 2025, I just went ahead and grabbed a pair because at that time it cost me about $200 US and I was comfortable spending that amount. I had never owned the Black Toe Jordan 1 Highs, and I think it's one of the best colorways of a Jordan 1 that you can possibly get. I think it's right up there with Chicago's and Bread's. I don't know if I like it as much as those two colorways, but I would say it's a close third behind those two. I think that the Jordan brand did these right and made a whole lot of numbers of them. I'm glad that they did that, and the reason why I'm saying they did these right is just because we're all familiar with the 85 Breads and the fact that they were pretty much untouchable. I do talk to a couple sneakerheads overseas who were able to grab pairs, and what's frustrating for me is just that they made it a lot easier overseas, like over in the UK, and then here in the US, if you didn't live near one of those boutiques, you were pretty much just out of luck. I did enter for them on End, and I haven't seen my results yet, but I'm just assuming that that's an L. And like I said, I live in West Virginia. I don't live near any major cities, and I certainly don't live near any of those boutiques that were getting stock in store. But like I said, these seem like they had really high numbers of them, and I'm glad because I feel like a lot of people like me want this pair to wear, and I would imagine that's who grabbed them today. This isn't really a release that I think people were grabbing with the thought of, I'm going to resell these and make a whole bunch of money. I was kind of surprised last week whenever those black metallic 5s dropped. I actually didn't look and see if they were still in stock or if they sold out when I made my video last week. And I had a lot of people in the comments like, these disappeared immediately. For me, I just went to my Finish Line. I already had a pair reserved, but they said nobody had been there asking about them. I was the first person to pick up my pair, and I wasn't even there right whenever the store opened. A lot of times I can't really judge if a sneaker is in really high demand just because of my location, because it might be dead in my mall and there might not be anybody lined up for them. But then I get online later that night and see that, like, for the black metallic 5s, people were shot, people got into fights, and all that stuff happened. It seemed like at my store there really wasn't high demand for these Black Toes, and just looking at the sneakers app here at a little bit after 1 o'clock, it does look like there's still a good many sizes left. Looks like the bigger sizes have disappeared, and actually it looks like size 10 is left, but everything surrounding that is gone. I didn't really expect this pair to sell out immediately, but I do feel like it's one of those pairs that could probably disappear over the next week or two. I think even if they disappear online, you'll probably be able to go to your local store and walk in and just ask them if they have pairs, and they'll probably have them for a little bit. With that being said, because this is an OG colorway, because they did such a great job telling this story, I wouldn't be surprised if they did kind of just all of a sudden disappear, and then it might be too late. And I'm just wondering if it could be something like the Black Hat Jordan 4s from years back, where they sat, you could find them in outlets, and then all of a sudden, if you went to reach back for a pair, you were paying double retail price just because all of a sudden people realized that's a really cool shoe, and the available stock all of a sudden disappeared and people were scrambling to get pairs at that point. I had compared these shoes to the lost and found Jordan 1s before, or the reimagined Chicagos, whatever you want to call them, just because the Jordan brand did such a cool job telling this story. You can really see the inspiration for the story here on the lid, and it's Jordan whenever he was a rookie or else very young in his career. He's got Jordan 1s draped over his shoulder, and instead of having the Wings logo like you see on his shirt, it says Air Jordan on the side. And that image right there was the inspiration for this whole release. The special packaging didn't just stop with the outside of the box. Underneath the lid, it says Special Attention Michael Jordan, and it's got that Wings logo. And then we also have all these cool pictures and kind of like images or sketches on napkins here on the paper. You can see the Chicago skyline in the background, and I think that is actually the background from where the Jumpman logo comes from. I really just thought that the Jordan brand did a good job telling this story, and I thought the presentation was really nice, and on a shoe as legendary as this, I think it's well deserving. In the pair that I've been wearing, I went with the red laces, but they did come from the factory with the black laces in the bottom eyelets and then the red laces just above that. There's a close-up of that Air Jordan font on the side where the Wings logo usually is. And then sometimes it's hard to capture that, but right there on the inside it says My Very Best Michael Jordan. I love little touches like that. The shoe is still recognizable as a black toe Jordan 1, but I don't know if they'll ever come with the Air Jordan font on the side of it again, so I like grabbing these whenever it's so easy to. The pair that I grabbed early, I spent about $200 for. Today's pair was $180 US, but I did use a coupon. All in for this pair, I was just below $170 US, and I think that's a really good price for a shoe like this. I say it all the time, but the Jordan 1 high and low is probably the most worn retro in my rotation. I have a ton of different colorways, and I just feel like they're so versatile. They go with my style really well. A lot of people are like, oh, they're so uncomfortable. I don't know if it's just because I'm used to them or what, but I don't think they're that uncomfortable. Actually, I don't think they're uncomfortable at all. I'm not suggesting that they're as comfortable as like New Balances or like Nike Vomeros or something like that, but for a basketball shoe from the 80s, they're fine for me to stomp around in. And I did a short today. I actually wore these to go pick up my other pair, and you could see these in my short, and a lot of people might think that's crazy, you're wearing basketball sneakers in the snow. But I think Jordan 1s are great for wearing in this kind of weather, because the fact that they're all leather on this upper, it makes them easy to wipe off. And for the most part, they keep water out too. If the snow was up above the ankle, then I certainly wouldn't be wearing these in the snow. I'd be having my muck boots on. But as long as the snow is relatively low, these work just fine in the bad weather. You saw how they come factory laced with the black and the red, but I went with the red laces. I really like the contrast on here. Actually, Mrs. Butter and I are going to go out to eat for Valentine's Day this evening. We didn't celebrate last night, but we're going to celebrate today. And I'll probably wear these, honestly, because I think it looks like a great pair to wear out on a Valentine's dinner date. I'm really glad that it was so easy to double up on this pair, because like I said, I will just run this first pair into the ground and I'll know that I have a backup pair on ice. I really like wearing OG colorways, and I love the story that this pair tells. As far as buying now or waiting, like I said, if you go to your local stores, they'll probably have these sitting for quite some time. You can probably even find them online for the next couple of days, or maybe even like a week or two. I could just see these becoming pretty sought after whenever they disappear and they're not readily available. I'm not saying that's going to be soon. I'm not saying to invest in this shoe. I don't really give out advice like that. At the end of the day, it is just a pair of shoes for wearing, and that's what I bought them for. But I just know that people like me who watched Jordan play as a kid, who really have a lot of respect for these OG colorways, I love having this in my collection, and I love the fact I can wear these, not have to worry about them, because I got another pair on ice, and the minute that these things are beat beyond repair, then I'll break out that fresh pair. I already have an on-foot video of these. I'm not going to show y'all an on-feet whenever it looks like this, and like I said, it's raining. This weather really sucks. I am so ready for the springtime to come this year. But I just wanted to recap a little bit of today's release. Let me know if you all grabbed them. Let me know what you think about these. It's crazy because my mind always goes to the place where it's thinking, if these were as limited and as difficult to get as the 85 Breads, would people be saying that they're bricks? Would people be saying that these are trash can water and that kind of stuff? Or do you think people would be saying, oh, I gotta have them, I'll pay double retail, triple retail, simply because
people want what they can't easily get?
But Jordan Brand, I think you did these right. I think that shoes with this kind of history that tell this kind of story, I think they should be readily available to the masses. I really wish you would have done the 85 Breads like this. I understand how it works, and I realize if you would have made really high numbers of those, people would be saying that those were garbage too. But anyhow, let me know if you grab these. Let me know if you're going to wait and pick them up later. I could see the price of these dropping for the near future, but as I mentioned before, I could also see a point when all of a sudden they're unattainable and the prices go up because there's not enough supply to meet the demand. But I appreciate you all watching tremendously. I hope you have a wonderful day. I just crossed 19,000 subs, and I am trying to get to 25,000 subs in the year 2025. So if you're not subscribed, then hit that subscribe button and help me out. I appreciate you all tremendously, and I will catch y'all on the next one. I'm out.